Hey, beautiful people, we're back with another video. Today's topic is where is it at and why is it taking so long? I'm Saria.
And I'm Kara.
And if you're new to our channel, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And also follow us on IG and TikTok at QueenConvos. And we also have a podcast for you to listen to. Look at the description below for extra details about that. So let's talk about this. Where is it and why is it taking so long? So that's a very frustrating question when you're waiting on something or you really have a big desire for something and it just doesn't seem like it's coming to pass, or it seems like even in the midst of it coming to pass that there's like so many obstacles coming your direction. It just can't be a smooth process. So how do we deal with that? I guess, what are your thoughts on this, Kara?
Ugh, you're right. It is frustrating, especially when you've been trying or making all of these internal changes because you're feeling like you're internally there. You're all set. You're like, I've been doing this. I've been saying this. I've been thinking this. And so why isn't it showing up yet? Like, what do I have to do to speed up this process? I think like as a society, we want things to happen fast. We are programmed to have convenience of things going fast. Like how many convenience stores do you have on each corner in your city or town where you live? Convenience. Everything's about customer service. And if you think about it, like that's why we are the way that we are, expecting things to just happen quickly, especially up in New England. Like, I mean, I think it's a little bit different in the South. Like things are more slow and yeah, like island time or on island time. Like I said, as a society, we're expecting things always to just happen. And it is frustrating when you're doing and making all these internal changes and you're like, okay, I'm waiting. Like, where is it? Why do I have to keep reliving the same thing over and over again when I'm doing this work and changing the way that I think? And, or you like get like a little bit of it, get like a little glimpse of something, and then it just goes back to the old way of how things used to happen or what you were used to. So I think what we have to do, like the answer is to stop looking for it to change and keep persisting in your new way of thinking, because it is eventually going to catch up. But I think we delay it a little bit by looking at it and being like, well, it's not here yet. It's not here yet. Might as well give up. And yeah, that can definitely make it slow down. Like it doesn't mean that you're not gonna end up getting to where you want to be. But in the middle of all of it, I think looking at here's a good thing, I think. In the middle of it, because we're so focused on our end goal and we're like, well, it's not here yet. But if in the middle of it, if you can kind of take a step back and think of it like you're on a mountain, you're climbing the mountain and you get to the top finally, and you look out into the horizon, and then you look back, right? Because they tell you not to look down when you're climbing. But when you're finally up there and you look down and you're like, wow, I just like came from there. Like I just climbed all the way up here. I came from there. That's where I used to be. That's where my old thoughts were. That's where my old circumstances were. But I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Having that gratitude for being where you are now and where you used to be is huge, and recognizing yourself for coming all that way. And I think that helps you kind of put it in perspective of, okay, well, I have accomplished stuff, right? Like I think we forget, like, because we're so focused on keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, that we forget to like look back at where we used to be and how we used to think and all
Right.
the crap things that used to happen to us. That if we can look back and see how far we've come, not to like relive it, we don't want to do that and get stuck there, but like just look back and be like, oh yeah, I used to do that. And like celebrate yourself a little bit, like give yourself a pat on the back. Um, Celebrate you tell yourself how awesome you are to have overcome all those things, and you're getting to where you want to be. But you went through all those things, and be thankful that you went through all those things, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't want to keep going. And I think that's where I think that's where we need to be. Because we all do it. I do it. I was just talking to you about it. Like, I'm like, well, I've been doing all this stuff. Like, where is it?
Mm-hmm.
And you get discouraged, and like, I'm not going to give up. But I'm like, seriously, like, I just expect it to happen faster than it can. And I have to remember that things take time. Things like this isn't magic, like it can feel like magic in hindsight. But when you're in the middle of it, it's not magic, because there's like time involved. But when you look back on it, like if you look back on your stuff, like you don't remember all of the nuances and all of the little stupid things that keep us, like, we keep thinking all the time. You don't remember all of those things. What you remember are the moments, and you remember those like significant things. And so if we can learn how to like quiet that chatter and understand that we are going to get to the next mountaintop, I think that will help take the focus away of the fact that it's not technically here yet, even though you still have it. Looking back on where you were to where you are now, and knowing that you're going to get there, and stop focusing on what is actually happening, because it's going to eventually get you to your next mountaintop.
Yeah. I think for me, I think when I'm not as hyper focused on something, that's when it seems to come in much faster. And it's probably because I'm not making that my primary focus. I know that it's going to happen, or I believe that it's going to happen. I do all that I can, in support of that thing. But then I might have multiple other things that I'm focused on. So when I'm focused on those other things, it's like I'm not just sitting and waiting for this other desire to come to pass. It's almost like sitting and watching a plant grow. Like, the plant is going, you plant the seed, the plant is going to grow into whatever plant it's supposed to be. But you plant it, you water it, and then you go about your business and you do other things. And then it starts, growing. It becomes visible, and then it turns into a, full plant. And I think a lot of times when we want something, we want it so bad, so urgently, and it's like we're constantly sitting there dwelling on it, and like we have like such a tight grip on, was it here yet? Is it here yet? When is it coming? But it's almost like you give attention to it, you do what you can in support of it coming to pass, and then you kind of have to release it a little bit. That doesn't mean you let go of the desire, but you let go of the grip that you have on it, or the micromanagement of it, you know? So I think that's one thing. But then there's some things, you know, someone could be waiting for years and years. Like, what if it's a health situation, or someone's trying to get pregnant, or, you know, how do you deal with that? I think the best answer to that is, I think you come to a point of acceptance where it's like you believe that it's going to happen and you put all your faith towards that, but you believe that regardless that you're going to be okay. That's how I have to look at things, because there are some situations where, like I said, it could be a health thing, or, you know, something in that category where it's like you have a disease or something like that, and you're waiting to get better, and it seems like all odds are against you. And I know, like, for me, there was a point in time I was in the hospital with something that was life threatening. And it got to a point where it's like, I believe that I was going to get better. I believe that I was going to get out of the hospital, but I actually had to get to a point of acceptance. If I don't, and me being a Christian, I believe, like, I'm saved. I believe I'm going to be with God. So I got to a point of acceptance that either way, I was going to be okay. So I think there, you have to get to a point where you come to an acceptance that I'm going to be good regardless of what happens. And I know that kind of sounds counter to, you know, just believe in it coming, but just, I don't know. I think sometimes you get to a point, the goal is being okay. And I think that's okay. Just to get to a point where you believe whatever way this turns out, I'm going to be okay. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think what you're getting at is like, you're like, it's gonna be okay, meaning you're taking the focus off of the whatever it is you want to change. By, like, you're like, that thing, where is it? It's not here. I've been doing all this, like, where is it? And then if you come back to, it's okay, I'm going to be okay. You're not saying that you're giving up on getting it. You're giving up on figuring out how it's going to come, and like what you need to do. Like, you don't need to do anything more. Like, you've done all you can do. If that's how you feel, you've done all you can do. It takes the pressure off. It gives you, like, you're not in control of the timing of things. You know, all you can do is keep doing what you're doing in order to, well, actually, I mean, no, you don't want to keep doing it and stressing yourself out,
Right.
but keep doing what you're doing and thinking and knowing that it's gonna come to pass. It's going to present itself to you.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to give up on it.
Right. And I think it's okay to have the mindset, because sometimes it might be a struggle to just disregard what's going on, basically. But yeah, I think I think it's okay to maybe you have the statement, I believe this is going to happen. Either way, I'm going to be good, though. I think that's a good approach to things. And I think a lot of times when you get to that place, it seems like everything like magically starts turning in the direction that you actually wanted it to turn in. It's almost like when you get to a place of I'm not desperate for this thing anymore, then it just happens in a lot of cases. And it kind of almost goes back with dating and stuff. When you see someone sweating somebody else, that person doesn't usually want that the person is sweating them. But if they're not, like, I like you, but like you're not the only person on the face of this earth, that's when the other person wants them back. But it's like that with a lot of things. It's like when you're desperate or overly anxious for something, it almost seems like it delays it. But when you can get to a point of peace, even if it's not there and it seems like it's taking a long time, it seems like that's when it happens. So,
Right. That desperate energy. It's tension,
yeah.
right? And like nobody wants to be around tension.
Right.
Like,
It almost like repels. It almost like repels what you want to come.
right. Right. And we like, yeah, when someone's like all over you or like texting you a billion times a day or has to be always up in your space, it's like, ugh, it's like, it's like, it's exhausting and it's suffocating.
Yeah.
And it's not a turn on. And
Mm.
so it's like, because it's like, well, like, can't you like think about anything else but somebody else? Like, you think that low of yourself that you're like all just about, you're putting all your energy into one person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, don't you have a life? Like, can we just, like back off? I mean, I know I'm fabulous, but like, I don't need you to tell me that, you know? But yeah, it's yeah, I think that what they say too, like a lot of the couples trying to get pregnant, and they're just focus. Okay, we gotta do. I'm ovulating. Okay, so we gotta do it now, and then we gotta put my legs up, and then like all these things that you have to do, and then you're like, okay, I take a test. Okay, okay, and it doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen because you keep looking for it to happen and you're focused on it. You're focused on the fact that you're focused on that you don't have it yet means that it's that's why it's not here, because you're focused on the fact that you don't have it yet, because you're thinking like, I don't have it, and so that's it's not going to show up if you. And then as soon as they kind of like step back, and not that they're like giving up on conceiving, the couples, they kind of just are like, all right, well, let's focus on something else. Then it happens. And then
Right.
they just like, then they like, they're not even doing like the special techniques. They're not even like waiting on, the special days and the hours and the basal temperature and all that stuff. It just happens because they're
Mhm.
not like hyper focused on it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's what we need to do, is like take it off the pedestal.
But like in some cases, I can understand why someone might, like, for example, a life or death situation. That's gonna be on the pedestal. But I think it's just coming to a place of acceptance. I'm going to be okay. I believe this is gonna happen. I want this to happen. I believe this is gonna happen. I put my faith towards that, but I'm okay. I release it. I think that's what it is. It's releasing it. It's putting the intention out there that I want it, putting your faith towards it, and then letting it go. And just allowing.
Yeah, letting go of the control of it.
Right. Just allowing.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
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 That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like your topic to be featured in one of our future videos, leave a comment below or send us a DM. And follow us on IG and TikTok at QueenConvos. Until next time,
Stay classy
and sassy.